It was a day of offensive failure, I think, from everyone. That the targets did a bad job, that the line did a bad job. Brock Purdy is not cloaked in glory, and we don't need to pretend that he had a better game than he really did. He was behind everyone all day, Larry.
No, he was not. I watched the game again last night. He had 3 bad passes in the first half. He had 3 bad passes in the second half. I mean, that's what he had. I mean, the rest of the day he was good. I mean, I went through that thing with a fine-tooth comb. The first half, he bounced the ball to McLeod, but that whole pattern was screwed up. McLeod bumped into Trent Williams on that play. So that was one.
That's a play.
And I don't know. I'm not even 100 right, and I'm not even 100% sure that he didn't throw that into the turf on purpose at that point. But he bounced it, so that's one for sure. Bad throw. He had another throw where he overthrew CMC by a couple yards. It happens. You got him hit that if you can, but he didn't hit that. And then when the rain came late second quarter, he struggled with that one poor throw to Kittle it was supposed to be over Kittle's right shoulder, and instead it came out of his hand with a wet ball. It fluttered. It was probably his ugliest throw of the day, and it landed near the sideline over Kittle's left shoulder. That was a poorly thrown ball. And then he had the ball that popped out of his hand mid-throw. So those were his mistakes in the first half. In the second half, he also had 3 poor passes. He had that one pass where he tried to layer it over the linebacker, and JOK, who's a terrific linebacker, had a great day, tipped the ball and almost intercepted it. That was early in the second half. Then he had the ball that was to Ayuk, and it was behind Ayuk by 3-4 feet, and it was intercepted by Emerson. That was obviously a bad ball. And then besides that, his only other really bad ball was the one where he was late on the ball to late in the game. He threw on that last drive. He threw a ball that was almost intercepted by Newsome. That was also 2 or 3 feet behind the receiver. But Ayuk and Debo combined for 4 drops, and for Ayuk, 3 of them were on him. He had a bad day. I mean, on a day where where Kittle didn't do much, and Debo was hurt, and CMC was hurt, Ayuk needed to step up as the number 1 guy, and he was AWOL. He made a few plays in the second half, but 3 key drops for Brandon Ayuk. So, I mean, Brock wasn't good, but his receivers weren't good either. The line, this is a great defense. I mean, there was a 4 or 5 plays in the second half where he was running for his life. So it just, it was a series of things that all added up, and it added up to a 2-point loss against a pretty good Browns team on the road. It's just the way it goes in the NFL. I would say if you got 17 games in the season, you're going to have maybe if you're really, really good, maybe 10 games that you're at your optimal peak level. And then there's going to be a few games that you weren't. And this one, after last week's big national TV win over Dallas, this was going to be a game where they were a little flat. I really thought, though, Damon, when the two teams brawled in the preseason, that was a major advantage Niners from the standpoint of, hey, you know what? There was a chance they were going to sleepwalk through this one, and after that brawl, there was no chance of that. But really credit Schwartz, credit the Browns, Dalvin Tomlinson, JOK, Myles Garrett, Denzel Ward. I mean, they got a lot of big-time players on their defense, and they showed up. And then P.J. Walker made just enough plays. Amari Cooper made a couple amazing plays. I thought Kareem Hunt was really good in this game. Jerome Ford had that 122-yard run late. The Browns did just enough offensively to get this thing done. But it was a team loss. It truly was. A few weeks ago when they won, they had the game against the Cardinals. Everybody got involved, and it was a true team win. This was a true team loss.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I look, I'm not going to defend Purdy. I thought his afternoon, you can talk about.
He wasn't good. He wasn't
good. He wasn't. I mean, no. We've seen Brock
Purdy.
But
he wasn't horrendous. If you go watch the film, you'll see. He wasn't. It wasn't like, I mean, you got to remember, Jalen Hurts yesterday threw 3 picks. I mean, I've seen quarterbacks. We've seen Mahomes, as great as he is, just absolutely be the reason his team lost. If you go back through that thing with a fine-tooth comb, Brock Purdy was among the reasons they lost. He wasn't the reason they lost.
I thought Kyle Shanahan was certainly among the reasons why the 49ers lost yesterday. I didn't like not running an extra play to get Moody closer at the very end. I hated his sequence of pass. Greg Olson even called it out. Like, here it is. You just took the lead. You got the ball back. And now it's like bleed some clock and don't give Cleveland a decent shot to come down here and kick or, get the go-ahead score. And Kyle just threw the ball 3 times on a day his quarterback and his wide receivers had nothing. I know,
but Damon, you're talking about their 11th series, the second to last series, 3:21 left. Cleveland Niners down 17-16. And I agree with you. And when the announcer said it, you'd almost guarantee that people were gonna re-utter that today. But if you go back and look at that series, the 1st and 10 play was the mistake. They should have run on 1st and 10.
Get the clock moving. Get the clock moving.
Exactly. And Cleveland had 2 timeouts, forced them to use them. But what happened was the worst thing happened. 1st and 10 from the 25. Purdy's under heavy rush. He throws it away, and he gets the grounding penalty.
Yep.
And so then you're looking, after that point, you had to pass. You're 2nd and 21. You're going to run on 2nd and 21. He went to Ayuk on an out pattern for 10. Then it was 3rd and 11, and he had to throw it away under rush. And they wound up punting, so it wound up being 3 passes. But the first play got you so far behind on the chains. If you could have just given up on the series and ran on 2nd down, maybe you should have at that point because you punted anyway. But once you passed and had a penalty on 1st down and got to 2nd and 21, if you're really trying to convert, you got to pass. And they were trying to convert.
I thought where Cleveland was at its best yesterday was just sniffing out that screen game. And there was a lot of screen game in the game plan. You saw it. And when Cleveland started jumping over it, it's like they didn't go away from it or something. It's the reason why this team had 1 passing yard in between the first drive of the game, and we didn't see another passing yard, I think, until the 3rd quarter at that particular time. Like, you had Christian McCaffrey on 1st and 10 getting buried for 8-yard losses because Myles Garrett and company were just sniffing out screens. And maybe that's just Schwartz being all over Kyle's tendencies, which he's got some serious ownage on Kyle now. It'd be hard to argue that he's not inside that guy's playbook and inside his head. And the Browns were just really good yesterday. The 49ers were really bad yesterday.